Subscriber hit me up and was like, "Bro, can you tell me the difference? Being loved or being feared, which is better?" I must tell you guys something. See, before you dive into topics like this, you need to know because they are really hard and really big ass topics. So, what is love? Love is a deep feeling of affection towards someone, right? Now, what is fear? What is fear? Fear in the age we live in right now, fear is simply means respected, um isolated, right? Or whatever you want to say fear is. Now you want to understand something about being alpha and being a simp and being a better male. This is it. Now being alpha, being a better male, being a simp, your goal is to be loved. True or false? True. That girl that told you you were a nice guy, that girl that told you and her can't be together, was what was your plan towards her? That you wanted to be loved by her. That means being loved, that means you were trying to please her, displeasing yourself. Despite it doesn't work for you, still please her. Despite you have that last card, you still want to share it with her, because what at the end of the day, what happens? You want to get laid. At the end of the day, you want to gain her trust. At the end of the day, you want to make her yours, right? You want her to be yours, having that tingly thoughts about you or that bullshit. That was your plan. True or false? True. Facts. Now, because of that, you were trying to be loved, right? Now let's talk of a guy that was trying to be feared. I don't need to talk too much about those guys. Now you need to understand, you need to watch James Bond, you need to watch Peaky Blinders, you need to watch Thomas Shelby. That you also need to watch and read the story of Adolf Hitler. So there's no much talk about being feared. There's a lot of people out there that are being feared. Now, also Tony Montana, man, these are people, these are hot cakes, bro. Even Donald Trump, bro. Elon Musk, these are alphas, man, because they really don't give a fuck about girls. They're too much focused on their goals, and they make a difference in the world. Not just they are not here to be loved. They just make a difference in the world for people to see their fucking impact. And what happens at the end of the day? People like you fall for them. People like your sister fall for them. People like your mama fall for them. People all over the world gonna fall for them because guess what? They're on their grind. Guess what? They know what you're doing. Guess what? They're more focused on bigger things. Guess what? They're more focused on building their life, building their investment, making it large. I'm being focused on one person. I'm being focused on people trying to love me. Now let's take the life of Jesus Christ. He was someone that wanted love to reign, that wanted peace to reign after his death, despite him being the Son of God, despite him being the divine child. What happened? Only 2% of Israel are Christians. Bro, what the fuck? Do you know what that means? That means that people didn't really feel his love campaign. No, they just worship him because maybe he resurrected. I'm a Christian, so don't get me wrong. I'm being logical here. Now let's talk about people that were being feared. Let's talk about people like Moses, King Herod, but Nebuchadnezzar. These are people that were really worshipped even while they were alive, till death, bro. That's different about being loved and being feared. Now I'm talking based on the Bible. Let's come to reality. Let's talk being an alpha and being a simp. Now you see the two differences between being loved and being feared. Being loved, you try to please people. Why being feared, you try to please yourself and take decisions. You are very fucking honest. There we go. So being feared buys you a lot of shit in this world. Being feared buys you love. Being loved buys you nothing. It makes you broke. Being loved makes people take you for granted. Now being feared buys you loyalty. So know what you do. Sorry, the camera has to shift. So talk about people that have been loved in the past. Talk about people that have been feared. Take instances. Take your family for example. Most especially your mom is being loved by everyone, by you guys, because she's for everybody. While your dad is the one that is, your dad is coming, you gotta run. I'm talking of some families now. In these two people, which of them is taken for granted? In my house, my mom is always the one that is always loved because she tries to please you. Why my dad is just there like, get the fuck, you don't do it my ways, no way, get the fuck, Now this is something about people that always that are, and in the long run, my mom is always being heartbroken because when someone wants to be loved, they tend to do a lot and with the hopes that they'll get love in return, just to be in your good books. And yeah, that's how my mom does. And initially it happens, she'll be in our good books and stuff. Then finally we'll take her for granted. It doesn't mean we don't love her. We love her, of course, but that's what comes with love. Grantedness, like you take that you don't appreciate. You can never appreciate it. It should be taken for granted. But when you talk about fear, you talk about honor, you talk about respect. You get. When you talk about fear, you talk about honor, you talk about respect. Your dad, your uncles, especially if you grew up in a military zone like me, where your dad's word is final, like nothing else. So that is respect. Now, when you try to be loved, this is what comes with it. When you try to be loved, be ready to be taken for granted. When you try to be loved, you always want love, so you tend to please everybody in your way. You get me? But when you try to be feared, you're always in your lane, always respecting yourself. Anybody that fucks with you knows that he or she has to respect herself before you can fuck with her or him. Now that is respect. But when you want to be loved, like, oh, I have to please you so that I'll be in your good books, that is the same kind of action. But when you want to be feared, you be an alpha male, you say it as it is, People know that, man, when this guy comes, he says it as it is. If you don't like it, get the fuck. But that's how he is. When you hear him speak, he says it as it is. Now you'll be respected, and in any gathering, in any decision, they always want to invite you, because at the end of the day, what happens? At the end of the day, what happens? You are always talking, you're always speaking facts, you're always being honest, in as much as you're always blunt. You're always being honest about it, about your decisions. You're always being honest about everything you say in the table, everything about the conference, everything about what's happening. So you're always respected for your word. But someone that's being loved, he may go out of his way just to please you. And look at people that please you. When someone pleases you too much, what happens? They begin to disgust you, they begin to irritate you. I don't know about you guys, but when girls try to please me, try to be in my good books, all that handsomeness, so when they try to be in my good books just for me to, give them attention, what happens at the end of the day? I feel so irritated, like, man, get fucked. Doesn't mean she plays hard to get, I'll be with her, man. I have a lot of things on my mind, but I'm just saying that, You get that? Like, you don't try to be loved. No, don't. That's the worst step. Now, when you try to be feared, when you are feared, you are being respected. You will never be taken for granted. You never receive any kind of insult, no matter who is coming from. That's the difference between love and being feared. That's the difference between being loved and being feared. I did a lot of research, and I was like, man, from all the research, they were just contradicting themselves. So I decided to use my own opinions on this topic. Now, steps to being loved. You're seeking the love. You're desperate about the love. What happens? You begin to invite the love. You try to please people so that they love you. For no reason. Now you're the nice guy. Being loved will make you end up as a nice guy. Now, being feared, you're always on your lane. You're the alpha male. Your decision, like you say it as it is. You don't please nobody. You say what you see. Now, that's the alpha male. You please yourself first before the masses, before people. Why? Because you want them to respect you and emulate you if possible. Nobody wants to emulate the loved one. Take a look at everybody that has tried to be loved and that has tried to make love reign. Logically, I'm talking of people like Valentine. I'm talking of the February 14th guy. Check his life. Sorrowful. Fucked up. Now check the life of Jesus. Jesus Christ is divine, so we can't use him. But logically speaking, check the life of Jesus. People loved him. He was straightforward. Only 2% of Israelites are Christians. Why? Because they hated his ways. Because he was too soft. You guys, you see where I'm coming from now. 2% of Israel, where he's from, are Christians. Why? Because they didn't really vibe to that. They didn't really feel that, because he was more of a man. I want love to reign. In any situation, love has to reign. It was like, fuck the rules, man. There is love now. Christianity is all about love. That's what he was preaching. That's what Jesus was preaching. At the end of the day, he said the legacy. But in the country where he's from, only few people are part of it. Now, how did his life end? Glorious, because he's divine. But talking about him based on a normal human being, logically, he was stoned, he was beaten, he was harassed. I'm a Christian, and God, if there is any form of blasphemy in this, I'm sorry. But you can do your own research. Now talk of people like Moses, Pharaoh, people that were very feared, Herod, King Herod. Talk about people like right now in this I'm in Lagos, yeah. So talk about people like Tinubu. These are people that are being feared. A lot of bullshit are said in their back. Can you say it in their front? No, get the fuck out. Talk about people like Donald Trump. These are people that are being feared. Can you say shit in their front? No. Can you say it in their back? Definitely. Now talk about people that are being loved. Biden. What has their government brought? Talk about people that are being feared. Adolf Hitler. Can you say shit in their front? No. Can you say it in their back? Yes. But they achieved every fucking goal they put up. Why? They're alpha males. Your sweetheart broke your heart. Why? Because you tried to please him. You tried to please her. And what happened? Who has the heartbreak? Who has the broken heart? You. Meanwhile, that motherfucker wanted to be respected, wanted to be feared. That's why he left when he saw that shit was up. It's high time all of you guys start getting feared. Fuck all that love shit. You don't want that in your life. Eventually to come, people will love you because they fear you. For every man, it is good to be feared. For every woman, it is good to be loved.